All right, let's talk about something that I think everyone struggles with, mental clutter. And I'm not just talking about organizing your notes here. We're going to dive into a full-blown system for organizing your entire mind.
You know that feeling, right? Like your brain is a web browser with just way too many tabs open. Or that constant, nagging feeling in the back of your head that you're forgetting something important. Well, if that sounds familiar, you're definitely in the right place. And here's the good news. That feeling, it's not your fault. It's actually a design flaw in how our brains work.
So, let's get into it. To even begin to fix this feeling of being totally overwhelmed, we have to understand why it happens. What's the root cause? That's what this first section is all about.
Okay, so here's the absolute key thing you need to grasp. Think of your brain like a computer. It's an incredible CPU, a processor. It's amazing at making connections and having ideas. But it is a terrible, terrible hard drive. For storage, awful. See, our working memory can only hold like 4 to 7 things at any given time. That's it. So when you try to use it to store your to-do list, remember to call the bank, don't forget to buy milk, you are literally killing your processing power. That's what cognitive load is. And that foggy, drained feeling you get, yep, that's the price you're paying.
And it gets worse. On top of that, there's this little psychological quirk called the Zeigarnik effect. Basically, your brain is hardwired to obsess over unfinished tasks. It'll just keep reminding you and reminding you and reminding you. It creates this constant background anxiety, this endless loop playing in your head. It is absolutely exhausting, isn't it?
Okay, so if our brains are just not built for this, what are we supposed to do? What's the way out? Well, that brings us to our next section. Because once you accept this fatal flaw, you realize there's really only one true solution.
And here it is. This is the big, fundamental truth of this whole idea. You cannot organize your mind inside your mind. Think about it. You can't use the messy place to clean the messy place. It just doesn't work. Trying to organize your thoughts with nothing but your own thoughts, it's a battle you are always going to lose.
The only way out is to get it all out. You have to build an external system you can trust, a second brain. Imagine a place outside of your head where all those open tabs, all those half-baked ideas, all those nagging tasks can just live. And what happens then? Well, it frees up your actual brain to do what it was designed for, to think, to create, to solve real problems. The payoff here isn't just about being neat. It's about reclaiming your mental horsepower for the stuff that truly matters.
So, okay, build a second brain. Sounds cool, but how do you actually do it? What does it look like? Well, you need a blueprint, an architecture. And that's exactly what the PARA method is. It's a super simple but incredibly powerful way to structure this whole thing.
Well, before we get into the nuts and bolts, we need a really critical mindset shift. See, most of us, we try to organize our stuff by subject. Like a library. You've got folders for marketing, health, recipes. But here's why that fails. A folder called marketing doesn't tell you what you need to do. The real key, the game changer, is to organize everything by how actionable it is.
And that system is called PARA. That's PARA. It stands for Projects, Areas, Resources, and Archives. Let's break that down real quick. Projects are things with a goal and a deadline. Think planned summer vacation. Areas are ongoing responsibilities in your life, things you have to maintain a standard in, like your finances or your health. You never really finish your health, right? Resources, that's just a library for topics you're interested in. And archives is for everything else, all the completed or inactive stuff. Why does this work so well? Because when your system is organized by action, it just naturally tells you where you should be putting your focus. Okay, so having the blueprint is great, but a blueprint is useless if you don't actually, build the house. We need to make this a habit. So let's switch gears from the what to the how. Let's talk about a simple daily workflow that makes this whole system actually work.
And really, it all comes down to just 3 simple steps: capture, clarify, and review. That's it. This is the engine that's going to run your second brain every single day, and it's what stops it from turning into just another digital junk drawer. Step 1, capture. Your goal here is super simple. Get everything. Every idea, every task, every random thought out of your head the second it pops in there, and put it into one trusted inbox. The key is, don't sort it yet. Don't worry about where it goes. Just capture it. Get it out. This is how you shut down that nagging Zeigarnik effect and clear out your brain's RAM.
Okay, next up is clarify.
So once a day, you sit down and process that inbox. And for every single item in there, you ask a few simple questions. First, is this actionable? If the answer is no, you either trash it or you file it away as a resource. If yes, you ask the next question. Does this take less than 2 minutes to do? If the answer is yes and this is a total game changer, just do it right then and there. Get it done. If it takes longer, you either delegate it to someone else or you defer it by putting it on the to-do list for the right project.
But just capturing and clarifying, that's not enough. You can't stop there. Because there's a fantastic, blunt quote about this. Organization without review is just hoarding. All you've done is move the mess from your brain to a different place.
And that is why this third step, review, is absolutely non-negotiable. You have to do a weekly review. This is your quality control session for your life. It's when you clean everything up, you look at your calendar for the week ahead, and, most importantly, you update your project lists. This is the habit that keeps the whole system trustworthy and actually working for you week after week.
All right, so we've covered the why, the problem with our brains, and we've covered the how, the PARA system and the daily workflow. But for this last section, I want to zoom out and talk about the real meaning behind all this. Because this isn't just about productivity hacks.
See, at the end of the day, building a second brain isn't really about having perfectly neat folders or hitting inbox zero. That's not the point. The real reason to get organized is something much deeper. And honestly, it's a little bit scary.
Here's the tough truth. A lot of us subconsciously keep our minds messy. We stay busy and disorganized because it's an excuse. It lets us off the hook. There's this incredible quote that says, "We often keep our minds messy because clarity is terrifying." And why is it terrifying? Because it forces you to either act or to admit that you are choosing not to. It makes you confront the reality of your choices.
So the final question I want to leave you with has nothing to do with what app to use or the best way to tag your notes. The real question is this. If your mind were completely, totally clear, what would you have to face? What big project, what ambitious goal, what difficult conversation would you suddenly have no excuse to avoid anymore? What reality will you choose to confront?